So, how fast do you need your motorcycle to be, right? My 1200 Sportster was a powerful machine. It was fast. It was a light bike. Once you got up to 65 miles an hour, it was revving a bit. It would have been nice to have another gear. The 1200 is equivalent to something like 78 cubic inches. And in the Harley world, actually I think it was 73 cubic inches. There's the major engines were, I believe, 88, 96, 103. And now they have the 107, the Milwaukee 8, which is a 107. Now there were the performance engines. The 103 had a 110, which was the performance version. The 107 has the 114, but without getting into the performance versions. So I went from the 1200, which I said 73 cubic inch, to the 103, which is a 1690cc. This is a fast bike compared to the Sportster, obviously. It's 100 pounds heavier, so some of the additional engine is not going to be felt because of that. A friend of mine has 2015 Road Glide, the 103, and you know, that's like I think it's a 900 pound bike or somewhere in that area. He test rode the Fat Bob, which had the 114, the Milwaukee 8 114, and he's still talking about it, and it's been a couple months. And even he recognizes that that bike would be just insane for him. So he's thinking about trading in his Road Glide for the 107 version of the Fat Bob. Clearly two totally different bikes. I mean, touring bike, saddlebags, you know, dresser. From there going to the new Softail frame and the Milwaukee 8 engine. But even that thing's going to be fast. That thing is going to be fast. And I mean, upgrades, whether it's computers, cell phones, more, faster, bigger, smaller, whatever the desired thing is, people want more of it. Whether it's more memory, more processing speed, lighter weight, smaller size, more pixels. And in the bike world, well, Harley just keeps making them faster and making the engines bigger. But at what point is enough, right? I rode some Milwaukee 8s they were 2017, so they were the touring bikes. They were peppy. I haven't ridden any of the 2018s yet that are on the Softail frame, which would be 100 or more pounds lighter than the touring bikes I rode. So I can't even imagine what the speed on those puppies is. And I'll be honest with you, if I had one of the new Softail bikes with the Milwaukee 8, maybe like not a Heritage, but a Softail Deluxe, hey, I'd take it, It would be faster than what I have now, but I don't need it, I was coming home a week or two ago from somewhere on a ride, and there was a camper gumming up the whole show, trail of cars behind it, camper turned off onto the road I needed to take, naturally. And then a car behind him, so I was the third one back. Or the second one back, I guess I should say. And I know the road well. As soon as the straightaway opened up, I just leaned out into the oncoming lane and opened up the throttle. And I blew past this dude in his camper. And at that moment, I thought to myself, you know, there are people who say Harleys are slow. And I just chuckled. You know, I guess if you're on a crotch rocket or you're on a CBR 1000 or, you know, I don't know all the different models, but I mean, come on. A super bike, basically, a sport bike, those things are insane. You know, they are insane. So compared to something like that, yeah, I guess a Harley is slow. But for the average person, average being someone who wants to live a long, healthy life, how much speed do you need, you know? I would be perfectly content to go through life in my 103. I'd want a Milwaukee 8 just because it's there. But I mean, realistically, I can't ask for anything more. This 103 is a beautiful thing. When you think about it, prior to about 100, let's just say 150 years ago, the fastest that man traveled was like riding a horse, I guess. I mean, how fast, or, you know, barring falling off of a very high cliff and achieving terminal velocity, basically people didn't really go that fast until the advent of the internal combustion engine. So doing 60 miles an hour is something that 6,000 plus years of humanity has never experienced, right? And it's just kind of funny when you think that we can get on a motorcycle and you could potentially be going 100 miles an hour in mere seconds. And that's not fast enough for some people. It's just funny. It's just funny. If there's any question about how fast mankind was intended to go, just look at what happens to us when we stop abruptly. Just look at the marks on my windshield, which used to be bugs. That kind of explains that. Anyway, if you're, you know, thinking about how fast of a bike to get, maybe some of this will be food for thought. If you already ride, then you already know this stuff. But I just thought it was kind of funny that we have bikes that go as fast as they do in the Harley world, but to a certain segment, they're too slow. They are too slow. Well, I'll tell you what, it might be 80 degrees and really humid, but it is fabulous. I am so glad I got on my bike tonight. I was sitting there looking, the minutes ticking away as it approached 7:30, and I said, if I don't go now, it's going to be 8 o'clock, it's going to be too late to go for a ride, and I'm going to be miserable all night long. So I am so glad. And God bless my wife. She said, honey, go ahead, go do it. So I did. Hey guys, that's all I got. Until next time, blues Blues Rider, over and out.